Hey team, let's talk about mindset and how we can get ourselves into more healthy habits sooner, okay? So one of the really successful ways that you can do this is linking your desired habits to current habits that you already have. So how many times do you brush your teeth a day? Probably twice, maybe 3 times. If balance is something that you want to work on, if when you're brushing your teeth, every time you brush your teeth, you're going to do a little bit of a balance, then you're actually already working on your goals at least twice a day for 2 minutes, sometimes 3 times a day for 2 minutes. So this is something that is linked to a daily action, so you're going to make that a habit from the habit formation that is already there. Another one could be that your habit is to put vegetable on your plate first and then put the other items that you're going to have for the evening. And that way your plate will be more filled with veggies, and visually you'll think more about the health items that are on your plate as opposed to trying to load up your plate afterwards with the vegetables that you are supposed to have for your micronutrients. Another great one, which is just like you're brushing your teeth, is the 2-minute rule. So say you would like to do meditation to reduce that stress, but you're finding it really hard because you don't think that you're going to enjoy meditation, but you know that the benefit would be really good for you. Something you can do is tell yourself you're going to follow the 2-minute rule. And what that is when you do your meditation, for example, you press start on a timer of 2 minutes that has an alarm. And all you have to do is do that once a day, maybe twice a day, for 2 minutes. Anyone can do something for 2 minutes, right? And what you'll get is the reward center in your brain triggered for the fact that you've actually engaged in activity that you don't want to do. But on top of that, you may be more likely to do it for just a little bit longer, or you may find, because you're trying it on a regular basis, that every so often you want to do a little bit longer. So this can be a really good rule for something that is really not palatable for you to do, but to be able to get your head around doing that thing, okay? And the final one that I have is thinking about setting up the routine earlier on in the day while you're doing something else. So for instance, when you're cleaning up the plates from dinner, setting up the bedtime routine as you come home or right after you finish dinner so that it's tied in with that activity. So this could be laying out the clothes for the next day, also making sure that the book is by your bed that you want to read before you go to bed so that you're reducing screen time, and just having this really good routine that will set you up for, say, having good sleep earlier on in the day, so that the default is it's easier to do the routine than it's not to. So if all of the items are already set up for you, all of a sudden the routine that you've created is a whole lot easier than to not do it. And one example of this is one of my clients used to walk into the gym in the morning and place her stuff in the locker. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do that, but she used to place her stuff in the locker at the start of the day. Now, that included her house key. What it meant was she had to visit gym at the end of the day in order to be able to get her house key. And because she was already there, it meant that she was more likely to engage in working out after and not cancelling her session. So that really worked for her.